Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday's Cosmic Tea. We're so excited to be here. I am just going to invite in my co-host. Okay. Hey guys, welcome. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get Olivia up here. Here she is. So excited to be with you for this week's Cosmic Tea. Oh my gosh, a new day, a new time right now. I'm hoping that works. Does that
Hello.
work? Yes, there she is. Hey guys, so as we're getting started, I cannot believe it. It's the holiday season. I actually
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hey you.
Hey, how
Just
are
gonna raise the
you? I'm like
volume.
trying to get the angles exactly correct. Is there a delay? Is there a delay on mine or no?
There is a delay, yeah. But I don't know if that's you
Okay.
or
I'm
hey
not
guys, what's going
sure.
on? I know it's because every time I get set up and then when somebody else comes in, it like totally changes your view. And I'm like, wait, now it's all like weird. Oh my gosh, guys, we are so excited to be here for Cosmic Tea. I was just saying, I cannot believe it's the middle of November. This light is so bright on my face. I'm laughing. I can't believe it's the middle of November. We're going to be talking about, and this is the perfect time of year, we're going to be talking about what to do with family toxicity on this week's Cosmic Tea and just how to navigate family throughout the holidays. In general, all of these tips will apply, but especially throughout the holiday season, and how to not take on other people's energies and how to not really allow their expectations and the way that they do things to impact you. So just to start this off, we are so excited to be here. I'm so excited about this topic. I'm glad you're excited about this topic. Olivia, we will get started. So guys, I'm Melissa Kathryn, and you can check out everything on my page, but I am a holistic nutritionist, weight loss expert, wholeness coach, hypnotherapist, and best-selling author and speaker. And we're just here each week in love with Cosmic Tea and loving this opportunity to share. And we have this whole tribe of women called the Awakened Woman. And we do retreats and all these exciting things all over. So we will get more into that. That is me and Olivia. I'll let you share about you.
I am Olivia Audrey. I'm a board certified doctor of natural medicine, an author, a speaker, a soul coach, an intuitive, lots of different hats that I wear. And it's typically
expectations am I placing on myself that I don't need to? Where am I going above and beyond? Where am I saying that everything needs to be perfect? Where am I not delegating? And where are there expectations that are preset that I am placing on myself or placing on other people? So there's a few things in this expectation realm that I really want to share with you guys. So one, with expectations, ask yourself, what expectations am I placing on other people? Because there's something, my friend Christine Hassler wrote this incredible book called Expectation Hangover. And she's an amazing coach. And she's got a great podcast and everything. Definitely go check her out. And one of the things with that, when she was talking about that, is really understanding where we place expectations on other people. And then when they don't live up to them afterwards, we're left feeling disappointed. And what you'll actually find is often it's because you had expectations that you didn't even realize you had. And you had expectations you were placing on yourself. You had expectations of how the holiday was going to go. You had expectations on, the way you were going to relate to people, and then all of a sudden, or the way other people were going to be towards you. So really check. And one of the things that I really love to encourage everybody is, how much would we all just love a clean slate for no one to ever bring past concepts of anything that they've had around us, anything that wasn't good, and just allowed us to have a clean slate of just coming in fresh from like, hey, this is me. Like, I'm not thinking about years past. I'm not thinking about the time that you overdrank or like said this to me or did that. So also giving people a clean slate. And the other thing that I would say with expectations and delegation is, where are you placing high expectations on yourself? When I'm working, you know, in our group programs and other things, I'll always see that the women, when I actually say, like, really look at the pressure that you're putting on yourself. Like, why does the dinner have to be perfect? Why do you have to cook everything? Why does every present have to be wrapped like that? Like, why do we have to have 5 courses? You know, really asking yourself. And many of the women would go, well, that's how my mom did it, or that's what I always wanted and I didn't grow up with, so now it's just something. If you're not enjoying it and you're not outsourcing help to other people, the whole point of holidays is it's about the people, it's about traditions, it's about fun, it's about experiences. If you're not having that, then really look at, where can you actually shift the way you're experiencing your holiday? Where are you placing that pressure on yourself? What are those expectations? Where did they come from? And which ones don't you want anymore? Where, you know, a lot of women often go, I have no idea, like, why I was insisting I had to cook 3 types of holiday cookies or make this or have 10 pies, when, like, it's just extra stress, extra food, and unnecessary, you know? And then once they reel it back, it's like, okay. So that's just one area in expectation and giving a clean slate that I definitely have found to be a huge, once you're aware of it, just to be a huge game changer in your experience.
I would agree with that. And I think that that's an important touchstone to bring into any event, you know, family or otherwise, but specifically holidays, because they're so emotionally and energetically charged. There's a big crescendo, there's like a big, you know, build up to it. And so I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that is unnecessary stress, right? Like, it's just unnecessary cortisol and adrenaline that's released in our body, and we have to do something with it. So it's exactly that. And it's this over pressure. Conversely, I am a big advocate for the simple fact that no one has a right to be abusive or toxic or degrading to you. I don't care if they're your mom, I don't care if they're your dad, I don't care if they're your uncle, you know, whoever, once removed, twice removed. No one has that right, unless you decide that that's something that you want to give to them. But for the most part, the epigenesis, so like the origin of where we find the beginnings of learning to accept abusive behavior, typically comes from the family environment, and typically comes at a very young age. So in terms of addiction, and we look at like people that have an issue with alcoholism, because, you know, you were talking about that one relative that drinks too much, or maybe you're the one that drinks too much and you feel that you need to and it's necessary around your family. These habits, we've determined, are actually started between ages 7 to 10 in the family dynamic. That's when our brains and our bodies are first hardwired or begin to be aware of addiction and that addictive cycle of those dopamine receptors and those pleasure receptors and sensors, right? So if you look back and you really peel back the layers on family tradition, a really interesting exercise is to bring a new version of you into the same event. When I would recommend that for most things in life, that it feels like you're trying to fit the square peg into the round hole. But if you bring a more evolved version of yourself to the family event and you just say, you know what, I'm just going to observe. I'm not going to get emotionally charged or drawn in. I'm just going to come in with a completely neutral energy. And I want you to take a mental notebook and actually sketch things down. Or maybe you actually have an actual notebook, which would certainly make people ask questions, which would also be more entertaining. If you're just walking around and every time somebody says something derogatory, you're like, interesting, and you write it down, people will start to watch what they say to you. I can guarantee you of that. And so when you go back into these dynamics and you're like, oh, this is where I got that. This is where I learned this pattern. This is where I glorified victimization, etc., etc. It can be the most powerful, most intensive therapy session available to you. Is if you can allow yourself to be bulletproof enough to re-enter that circumstance or that situation and be like, you know what, I'm going to see it from either a scientific or an observational perspective, and you just record down all of the behaviors, all of the patterns. Remove the fact that they're your mom or they're your sister from the equation, and just write down what you're observing and what you're seeing. You will gain so much insight into not only how your specific family dynamic works, but things about yourself. And you'll be able to go, oh yeah, that's why I had that lack consciousness, or that's why I, was never fully proud or in my body because I like had these shame issues. Or it's a real interesting thing. And at the end of the day, absolutely no one has the right, as I said, to be abusive or toxic or make you feel, in a certain type of way, A, unless you let them, but B, just because they're family. Because a lot of people will try and use that get out of jail free card as, oh, they're your whatever. No, they're a human being who's choosing to exhibit a behavior. So I know that, a lot of people are advocates for like being the bigger person, giving people a chance. That's also a doorway for being a doormat. So my advice and my cosmic key takeaway would be take back your power. Have a set list of rules. I'm not going to allow disrespect to occur to me in this way. I'm not going to allow somebody to talk down to me in this way. I'm not going to allow anybody to, make derogatory comments in this way. And have your rules and put that piece of paper in your pocket when you go into that event. And even if you don't read them, refer back to them. Because what happens is once we enter into an emotional paradigm or dynamic, those get all fuzzy. And we're like, yeah, but I guess that isn't really disrespect. Follow your gut. That would be my advice, is follow your gut and maintain your same set of boundaries and standards for your family as you do for your friends and for people in your work environment, because they are, at the end of the day, a human being who needs to treat you by the same standards that you allow for others.
Yeah. Guys, it's when it does come down to the way people treat you, like really, really looking at and recognizing and trusting that part of you where you're like, that's just not right. Like, it's not right to talk to me that way, and I won't allow it anymore. And I love, what Olivia was sharing, because it's so, especially with siblings and in parent dynamics, we fall into our family roles. We fall into those dynamics and we start to make excuses. We start to go, oh, well, they've just always been that way, or they can't help it, or, they're just this, or they're just that. And somebody can always choose to be better, right? But they're not going to be aware to be better until you point out. And one of the things that I love to say, and that I started saying, because, also too, again, with like family dynamics, when you start to just notice like, oh, it's just like constant, like passive aggressive, or just like a lot of judgments and different things. And you can say to somebody, and one thing that I love, I don't know who I first read this or like learned this from, or I would love to attribute it back, because it didn't come from me. So I just want to put that out. But it was basically saying, really saying to that person when they say something to you, like there would be, especially if you guys are empathic. I know growing up in my family, it was always, you're so emotional, you're so sensitive. And I was like, oh, why are you saying like having feelings is a bad thing, right? But I used to be like, oh yeah, and feel like it was kind of a bad thing. And then I started to realize that there were certain people in my family that actually struggled with, they didn't like dealing with the emotional, at that deeper emotional level that I was at, right? Now, nothing's wrong. No one's wrong, but I don't need to be made to feel wrong. So what I learned to start to do was actually just go, hey, that really didn't feel good. What about what I just said made you feel uncomfortable, that you felt the need to say that to me? What was it about what I just did, made you feel that it was okay to say that to me? Or what was it about what I said that made you uncomfortable to then put that back on me? And I found that it's not a reactive space. It's not an angry space. It's just like, hey, I'm curious. Let's create that boundary right now. And really going into that. And that I found was beautiful, because it allows the other person to be in this heightened state of awareness where they don't even realize, because they too are acting off of patterns. It's something they've always said. It's there, right? We're all, your mind's set up for survival. Your mind's set up to take you to where you know to go, right? So if they've never grown past that, then that is the way that they will pick up that relationship with you. And that's really when we look at family dynamics, we often can fall right back into those roles. I will have clients go, I was so good for 3 days, but by day 5, like, I don't know what happened. I like reverted back to my 14-year-old self. You know, I don't understand. Like, I teach this stuff, or like, I'm doing this. And how did that happen? It's because we actually fall back into those roles and dynamics, especially when we go back, guys, we're animals by nature. So when you're back in that environment, your actual actions align with that environment, right? So that's when, you know, like, did you ever go away and like you come in and like you couldn't use the bathroom the whole time you were gone, and then you walk in your house and you're like, oh, kind of like, not the best analogy, but I'm going to use it. So we end up being that way. So it's very much like when we go into our childhood homes, we end up going back. So a thing that I really love to do, that I do without fail, and I tell everyone to do this, is script out how you want it to go. Every morning, write your intention for that day down. Like, it doesn't have to be a huge thing, but like, today was a great day. Everybody got along amazing. And I'm going to bed feeling really lit up and my heart's full. Like, there was nothing but peace, right? Like, it can be one line. Or if it's more an elaborate, where you actually there's a lot of different moving parts in your family and a lot of different toxicity. And you're just like, you know, whatever that is for you. But I have found that to be, there's magic, right? I always say there's magic in your pen, right? Like, absolutely. So really take the time to just script out and center yourself before just getting up each day. You know, Livy and I have always said that in like a morning routine. And also, it works wonders around the holidays, like down to the travel being seamless, to everything. So that will also really, really support in you creating and embodying what you want to experience. And that will support in that actual coming to fruition for you.
Yeah, I think those are great tips, especially the scripting is, as you know, you're like such an important part of a routine and such an important part of energetically preparing for going into any situation, whether that's like a date or an interview, or it doesn't matter, a hard conversation. It's a very, very strong tool in the toolkit. Another little sort of witchy tool is, I'm a big fan of carrying clear quartz crystals, especially when you know you're going to be around energy vampires. You can also make your own little sage or sea salt spray. Again, a really interesting conversation piece when those energy vampires, people that suck your energy, come around you, and you just take out this little mini bottle and start spraying the air around you. They're going to think like you're batshit crazy. They will stop interacting with you at a certain point. I can promise you that. So this is a really great way to like minimize conversations if that's what you're looking to do. But on the other hand, it really helps to diffuse the negative nanoparticles of heavier or lower vibratory energy. So even just carrying, sometimes I'll put a clear quartz crystal in my bra, and I've talked about this all the time. I will not remember that it's in there, and then I do laundry, but it feels like I have a protective force field around me, and I know about it even if I forget about it. You can put it in your pocket, generally somewhere where it's on your person. And if you want to incorporate more balance into your life, which, by the way, we're about to be in the middle of 2 eclipses. We're entering into eclipse season with a Taurus full moon on Friday the 19th. And it'll be a partial lunar eclipse, and then it will be cyclical and closing out with a solar eclipse December 4th. So whatever patterns you began last June with family, with relationships, those are coming to a close. And whatever didn't get said, didn't get resolved, is about to in the next 2 or 3 weeks, which coincidentally falls right on Thanksgiving in North America. So we are primed for those like wrecking ball moments where if there's something that's just been eating away at you and you've been wanting to talk about and you've been wanting to you're trigger happy with it, it's going to come out. You know, frustrations are peaked, tensions are high, energy is on full force. So know that there are also some astrological and a lot of energetic influences that are at play here as well. So using the crystals, burning sage around you, around your home, in your space, especially if you have people over, afterwards really clears the energy out. It's also antibacterial for the air particles as well. You know, and you can even put, if you're hosting, put clear quartz in the 4 corners of your home, and it will just help to bring the energy down a notch, have a bowl of sea salt out, just like open, sitting somewhere, not for consumption, just sitting on a shelf or something where people don't know what it is. All of these things are going to be really, really helpful energy tools for you to not just survive, but to hopefully grow through the holiday season, because we don't ever want to have times in our life where we're like, oh, if I could just survive this, right? When the lesson and the invitation from the universe is always about growth. So never just feel like you're hanging on white knuckled. Grow through it. There's always an opportunity for growth through it, even when it's really difficult, it's really stressful, people are assholes, hate your family, whatever. There's a growth opportunity for you. And it has nothing to do with the rest of them. This isn't for the rest of them. This is for you. These tips are for you. So do yourself a favor. And just like you take your multivitamin in the morning, take your energetic tools with you, your soul tools, and use them in the same way that you protect yourself and your immunity and your body and your family. Protect your energy as well.
I love it. I love it so much. And just to tack on a few more, guys, I just have like a smudge spray that I even use, and I will spray it just around me at night before I go to sleep. You can get them honestly anywhere, obviously sage as well, Palo Santo, all of these good things are great for clearing, but smudge spray, if you're traveling, is great because you can just be like, all right, we're clearing this out. And another thing that I love to do is, and I was working with a client on this who was struggling with some sleep stuff and a lot of things in her life. We just put a bowl of water by her bed and just a little bit of water, and that will actually absorb any negative energy. So you can do that as well. I know Olivia was saying also with the sea salt in there. Those are things that I love. And then just the simple, the crystals, especially like I'm getting on a plane, right? So when I go through the airport, I always have black obsidian or tourmaline in my purse and in my pocket. Those are really good to protect against negative energy as well. And you can bring those with you. And I always laugh because my brother's like, did you bring your woo-woo crystals home? And I was like, I did. And he's like, keep them away from my kids. And I'm like, they're under their beds. What was I going to say? And then the other, just very, very simple, regardless of, if you subscribe to angels, Archangel Michael is a beautiful, protective, just angel, and you just call on the angels speaking out loud. The angels do want to hear from you, and your invitation, they need to be invited in to support you, but they're all around. And that's a great thing too. Just Archangel Michael, I'd love for you to protect me and my family at this time, or protect me while I'm traveling, protect me while I'm here, protect this house, put me in a bubble of golden light. And you can also just see yourself breathing in, inhaling in white light, and actually becoming like glowing, if you will, right? Like see yourself glowing and in that protection. When I am speaking with somebody that's just kind of spewing negativity, I literally will see a piece of glass in front of me, or even a rose where all of their energy is going into it. And then I just see the rose kind of exploding into like little glitter up into the sky. So you can do a lot of different things, but if you notice somebody's just like spewing negativity and you're just like, I don't want this, just see it as almost like putty, like it's just bouncing off of you. There's a wall in front of you. You're not taking any of it in. I kind of sit there with like a blank stare, and I'm like, and then I'm like, how soon can I leave? And so that's a great way to just energetically protect yourself as well. So if you find yourself in those conversations, you don't need to take them in. You can just sit there and smile. You don't need to be in this like engagement that you don't want to be in. Just let them speak and leave. And again, just the simple act, if crystals and other things are just like not your thing, you can also just say, Archangel Michael, or just universe, cleanse me and clear me, restore my energy rightfully back to myself. May I only be love and light here, right? Only love and light is present here. Restore me back to my energy only. Let no negativity be, cling to me, be around me in any way. I just spell it for me now, right? Like whatever, it doesn't need to be Shakespearean tongue, whatever you feel called to, and that will do it. It's your vibration, it's your energy. It's you saying that it's a desire for you, and therefore trust it is done. Yeah.
Absolutely. All of these. I love all of these little, like, so you're getting like pre-Christmas presents, you know?
So
And
little gifts. Little
yeah,
gifts.
take them with you, unwrap them at your leisure. And please let us know how your holiday experience is going, from the prep and the planning and the phone conversations and the travel. We want to hear about all of it so we can help you. This has been another episode of Cosmic Tea. Your Cosmic Tea takeaway is do whatever is necessary to help keep you and your energy in alignment. Understand that most of what people do is a projection of them and not you. And the best tool that you can give yourself for growth is to have an awareness, record it down, and use it for your own personal fulfillment in the midst of somebody else's bullshit.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next Tuesday for Cosmic Tea. Please let us know any questions you have. DM us anything that you need. And if you want any specific topics for Cosmic Tea, especially heading into this holiday season, you DM us and let us know, and we will make sure to answer your questions or to address your topic. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. We're honored to have you as always. See you next week.
Bye.